Tomasz Sobania is an extreme runner that earned the nickname Polish Forrest Gump for his extraordinary long-distance running feats and unwavering commitment to charitable causes. Sobania has built a remarkable legacy of combining athletic endurance with social advocacy. Over the years, he's completed grueling runs across Europe, including a journey from Poland to Rome to meet Pope Francis, raising funds for a young girl battling cancer. He's completed a run to Barcelona and a 3,600-kilometre round trip from Poland to Greece. In 2025, Sobania achieved his most ambitious challenge yet, running across the United States from New York to Los Angeles, a 5,250-kilometre journey completed in 139 days, covering the equivalent of 125 marathons. Starting in Central Park, he averaged 42 kilometres per day, proudly carrying the Polish flag to promote his homeland and its resilience. The run, which concluded in early February 2025 at the Griffith Observatory overlooking Hollywood, was more than an athletic feat. It was a platform for his You Can Do More Than You Think campaign. This initiative, supported by a relay for individuals with disabilities and neurodevelopmental disorders, aimed to inspire people worldwide to overcome adversity. Sobania also collaborated with American producer Alex Klimko to create a feature-length documentary chronicling the journey, further amplifying his message of perseverance and hope. Through this transcontinental run, Sobania not only showcased Poland's spirit, but also cemented his role as a symbol of determination and purpose-driven achievement. Welcome to World Talks. I'm here with Tomasz Sobania. Welcome to the programme, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, Tomasz, first of all, could you tell me a little bit about what inspired you at first to get into extreme running? Was there something in your childhood which pushed you in that direction?
Well, I think it's something about me that's different because I always wanted more than people around me. That's my ambition to pursue goals and live an extraordinary life. That's what I always wanted. And just by accident, I discovered that I'm good at running. And so that's what I'm doing, actually. For the last couple of years, I ran around 15,000 kilometers.
But how did you accidentally find out you were good at running?
Well, I was always late. That's how it happened.
Okay.
I come from a small town in Silesia. And actually I had to go by train to school. So every time I got out of home and I learned, well, I'm late and I had to run. So that's how I actually discovered that I like it. Also, I always felt free when I was running and being ambitious, I could set up a goal, and achieving that goal made me feel great. So that's what I'm doing.
So how did it move from you running for the train until doing something, I don't know, either competitive or a big challenge?
Well, it grew up slowly. First of all, I decided to run 30 kilometers for my 18th birthday. And like I said, I felt satisfied after I did that. So I wanted more, a little more. And so every time I reached one goal, there was another one to pursue. So that's what I did. I ran 300 kilometers in 1 week in Spain. Then I decided to run across the whole Poland. And I decided that I will be willing to do running expeditions every year. That was my goal since I ran across Poland, and that's what I did. Later I ran from Poland to Rome and I met Pope. Also, I had a great mission there because my goal was to meet the Pope, not only because I wanted to do that, but also because I met a girl that was sick with brain cancer and her dream was to meet the Pope. So she wrote a letter, I gave Pope the letter, and eventually when she recovered, she went to Rome and visited Pope herself.
Wow.
So those stories actually made me push even harder, think of other plans like run to Barcelona, run to Greece and back, and eventually about running across the United States.
So your path to running is not a sort of very, should we say, sporting, training. Did you ever have a coach or anything like that?
Oh yes, because it's a very difficult athletic challenge to run so much. But on the other hand, it's not the main reason for me just to run. It's more of it. It's so much more than this. So I had the coach and I am an athlete, but I'm more like the expedition athlete. That's what I call it, because throughout the year I have quite a normal life, doing talks around Poland and inspiring people, writing books and stuff. But when it comes to the time when I'm on the expedition, right, then I'm like a full-time athlete at those moments.
Yeah. So you've said before that your primary aim is to inspire people into believing that they can do more than they think. But what made you come to the realization that you could do more than you imagined?
Well, that's interesting because, no one ever taught me that. No one in school told me, Tomasz, you can do whatever you want. I learned that myself because I was always curious, and I always thought, well, no one's going to save me. If I want to fulfill my dreams, then it's my responsibility. And that's why I started doing those small things. And when I achieved one small goal, I learned, well, maybe I can do more. And that's what happened. And actually, running taught me that the moments when I feel I can go no more, this is not the end, right? Because every time I felt it's over, I always learned, well, there's something left inside and I can still push. So that's what I'm trying to spread this message right now, that we all can do more than we think. Because for me, coming from a small town in Poland, running across the United States, or meeting Pope in Rome, or Robert Lewandowski in Barcelona, even in Washington, D.C., while running across the United States, I was given the American flag in Congress. So it's something so special that I think people should know about it, and just they should think of them in the same way that I'm thinking, that we all can do more than we ever thought possible.
So it wasn't a particular person or a moment or something like that made you kind of switch your mindset. It was just a sort of gradual process. Is that right? Or?
Yes, that's right. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if it's because of my parents or what, because they never taught me that. But it's interesting. My dad is a dreamer, but he always talk about what he would do, but he never does anything about that. My mom, on the other hand, she is, it's kind of a person that does not dream too much, but she's focused on reality, right? So I am a kind of a combination of a dreamer and somebody who's focused on reality, and that's why I think I'm pretty successful.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, a sort of combination of your parents. So just thinking about the running for a second, aside from like the obvious, just the fatigue and tiredness, what's the most difficult obstacle that you have to overcome when you're running?
Well, first of all, it lasts so long. Imagine that you have to run across the whole continent. It took me 139 days, and all of those days, it was always hard, and each day felt like it's a week at least. So the hardest part is to endure and just keep doing the same thing every day when it's so boring, nothing changes. It's difficult, and the thing that helps me a lot is that I know what I'm doing, is I have a good reason. So that's the hard part, to endure. But on the other hand, I'm organizing it all myself. So it's always difficult to find the sponsors, to organize everything, find the team or the American film crew who made a movie about the whole journey. So this is very difficult because it's more than one job.
Yeah, absolutely. So how have these runs changed your life? How have all these sort of challenges shaped you and turned you into a different person?
Well, I think it actually made me tougher and made me think that I can do much more. And even if it's hard, then I learned that I can count on myself, and I can count on certain people. And I think that's so important, because I can trust myself now, and I can trust that I will handle whatever situations comes, because I've been to so difficult situations that when it comes to regular life, I think I'm handling it quite good. So that's definitely how it's changed me.
I can imagine when you wake up every day for 100+ days and run a marathon, the smaller aspects of everyday life just must seem you cruise through them.
That's right. That's actually so true.
Okay, so could you tell me, were you inspired by any particular athletes or maybe the sort of famous Polish Himalayaists when you were younger. Was there any one or group of people that gave you inspiration?
Well, I don't think so, but at the beginning it was all about me, my ambition and stuff. But later, when I realized that there are some more people like me doing different kind of difficult things, and they are Polish, then it was inspirational. So I learned more about Polish Himalayans and Polish people who climbed the highest mountains in winter, and I thought, well, those people are kind of the same I am, and it was inspiring.
Now, Poland at the moment has, in the ranking of the World Cup ranking of ultra triathletes, actually the top ranked nation in the whole world. It's incredible and not very widely spoken about. So, in your opinion, why does Poland produce such a disproportionate number of extreme athletes and incredible adventurers?
I don't know, but there must be something about us that, you know, pushes us to do extraordinary stuff, and it might be something in our history, or there's kind of a Polish gene that makes us go further than others. But I definitely think that we as a nation, we have some kind of bravery and curiosity that actually makes us push the limits, because we are curious where those limits are. And it's great to be a part of Polish people who are, you know, pushing those limits.
Absolutely. And lastly, Tomasz, is there any future challenge you can tell us about? Is there something on the horizon that you've got planned?
Well, next year I'm going to run 50 marathons in 50 days in all 50 states of America. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be an extreme journey, because every day we have to be in a different state, including Hawaii and Alaska.
Wow.
So if anyone from United States are watching us, you can always contact me, because I will need to plan an event in each of the states, and we're going to travel from each state to another, celebrating 250th anniversary of United States. That is next year. So I think we as a Polish people, we can actually make an impact on this anniversary. We had a big impact on American history, so we can be now a part of a celebration of 250th anniversary.
Wow. Tomasz Sobania, what you're doing, I think, is incredible. Thank you very much for joining us here on TVP World.
Thank you so much for having me.